Hello and welcome to another episode of Tech Avocation. In this video, we're going to be starting a series of episodes on learning to program. Not that long ago, programming wasn't a critical skill. It is slowly becoming more and more of a critical skill as the mobile industry is just exploding right now, and all the stuff that you're now able to do on the web. We're going to be starting with web programming, and there are four main languages. So there's HTML, JavaScript, CSS, and PHP. HTML is kind of the fundamental language, so everything builds off of that. So that's what we're going to be starting with. CSS is formatting and how things look. JavaScript is all variables and algebra and math. And PHP is server stuff that runs in the background that you as a user your web browser on the user end doesn't actually execute. And when we do PHP, we'll also be looking at SQL, which is database software that runs on your server. So like I said, we're going to be starting with HTML, so let's get to it. So here's a blank document which we will be programming in for HTML. An analogy for how to set up an HTML page in terms of coding is you have the head, the body, and then the foot, like on the person labeled here. So the first thing we do is we start with the HTML tag, and you always have the greater than and then less than. It must be opposite for you guys, I think. And then whatever the code is in the middle, and that's just the syntax for HTML. So the first thing we're going to do is HTML. So open HTML, and then to close a certain phrase, then you just put the slash in front of the word. So it would be open HTML and then close HTML. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to open the head tag. You don't actually see it on the page, but it's kind of the background stuff that the browser needs in order to start loading the page. So the first thing inside the head tag, we're going to open and close it, of course. And then we're going to open the title tag and put learning to code inside the tag and then close that tag, and then learning to code will be the title. So outside of the head tag now, we're going to open up the body and press enter a few times so that you can have more space to work. So the first thing I'm going to do inside the body tag is open up a header. So header is shown as H1 and H2, etc., etc. If you want more of them, and then you can customize each header tag to have certain elements, to have a certain style once we get into CSS. So let's do H1, and I'm going to say learning to code. So now I'm going to put some text on the page. So we have a title and we have the head tag done. So now I'm just going to put some text. So I'm going to open up a P for paragraph and of course close it. And in the middle, I'm going to put the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog, period. So now let's have a look at what this web page looks like in a browser. So in order to get it into the browser, we're simply going to save the document. I'm going to call it index.html. I'm going to put it on the desktop. Then I'm going to double click on that file, and it will open in my default browser, which happens to be Safari. So you can see that our title tag ended up as the tab, what displays in the tab, and also at the top of the window. And the header appears black in a large font on the page in bold. And then the paragraph is right underneath that in just an ordinary font. Two more things before we call it a wrap. So I'm going to go back into the HTML code page. After the H1, I'm going to hit space and write style equals open double quotations. Then I'm going to write text hyphen align colon center. And then semicolon, close the double quotations, and then that should all be inside the H1 tag. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the color of the paragraph text. So if we go into the P, and again we want to hit space, then style equals open double quotations, and just type red. If you like, you can type in the hex. There's basically a number for every color that you can possibly imagine, and you can look those up on the internet. I will leave a link in the description as to where you can look at, where you can have a reference if you wanted to do something other than red. But red, blue, black, white, you can just type in, and I think yellow and green, you can just type in those words and it will come up with a default version of that color. So yeah, so style equals double quotations color red close double quotations. I missed the semicolon. So it was basically just type it like this. Then we will go back to the browser, and if we reload the page, then we will see that our changes have been updated. So our header is now in the center, and the paragraph is now red. So that pretty much covers the introduction to programming in HTML. Right now we're doing HTML5, which is the latest standard at the time of filming this video. Hopefully this wasn't too complicated for you. If you have any questions, feel free to leave your questions and comments in the comment section below. I will have the full code in the description so that you can have a look at it to see what was different. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you next time.